Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. You may have seen Conor Benn's interview with Piers Morgan, and since then there have been a couple of little tweets exchanged between Ben and Chris Eubank Jr. Eubank Jr., I suppose you could say, he's trolling him. Said that he was 100% certain he's guilty now after that interview, and Ben came back and said, well, you try to blackmail me for £1,000,000. Now, Conor, stop there, mate, because you should realise that if you throw words like blackmail around, you can get yourself sued. But Conor Benn probably doesn't care about this. Conor Benn is bloody minded. He's like his father. He's not the brightest bulb in the floodlight, not really an intellectual, but he runs on raw emotion, just like his father did. And that might make you a great fighter. I've followed Nigel Benn's career from start to finish. He's one of my absolute favourite fighters of all time. And I was enjoying Conor's career up until this whole farce exploded. But if you accuse people of blackmail, you're going to get in trouble. You've got to actually take some advice from some people some of the time. And what does he mean by this blackmail thing? Well, the word blackmail, it's a very emotive word, and sometimes it gets bandied about, and it's used whenever somebody is trying to be coerced to do something. And so you say, well, you're trying to blackmail me. Well, no, they're not trying to blackmail you. Coercion is not the same as blackmail. They're two very different things. Blackmail is having some information on someone and using it to illegally get them to do something. It's actually a crime to blackmail someone. Trying to coerce someone, to persuade someone, I mean, if that was a crime, we'd have most of the media and most YouTubers in prison, wouldn't we? Well, certainly in the dock. You can coerce people to do whatever you like, Oh, go on, love, go to bed with me, please. If only out of pity. I'm suing you for blackmail. You're trying to emotionally blackmail me. They don't work like that. Blackmail is not. It's not. It's not coercion. It's not trying to persuade someone to do something. But is there any chance that Eubank did try to blackmail Ben? Did he hear about the failed test and say, all right, well, add £1,000,000 onto my paycheck and we'll forget about it. I won't reveal anything about it. And then, of course, there was, if you remember back, Eubank's father, Chris Senior, he was very vocal in being opposed to the match. He mentioned the dehydration. He mentioned that clause that was in the contract. He said, that's not right. And, my son could get killed. And did he have some information? I don't know. Look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I hate that mentality. I like evidence. By all means, we can debate things and discuss things, but you've got to be careful that you don't slip into the realms of fantasy, which most conspiracy theorists do. But you can't dismiss anything until whatever's out there has been proven. Whatever the reality is has been proven. So yeah, or is it a case of? I mean, let's say that Eubank did say that. Let's say that he said to Ben. Now, if he said to Ben, "You give me £1,000,000, or I'll reveal the findings of the false test to the press," that would be blackmail. But if he said to the promoters, which in this case was Wasserman and Hearn and Matchroom, well, all right, we can go ahead, but I want another £1,000,000. That's not blackmail. Not really. That could be construed as negotiation with the promoters. I mean, there is a grey area there, I suppose, thinking about it. But the point is, you've got to, if somebody's blackmailed you, you've got to prove it. Because if you don't, and somebody says, well, I'm suing you for defamation of character, you're making these statements about me. Well, look at what happened with Jake Paul when he accused Eddie Hearn of having judges in his pocket. Hearn immediately said, Hearn is not a particularly litigious person, not like Frank Warren, who, isn't happy unless he's suing someone. Oh, did I slander you, Frank? You're going to sue me. Hearn said, I'm going to sue you, Jake Paul. You don't get to talk about me and my company like that. I'm suing you. Eubank Jr. might well decide he wants to do that. I don't know. But Conor Benn, raw emotion, You saw it on that Piers Morgan thing. I still think there's a possibility, and I don't say that I know this, and I don't even say I believe it. I'm saying it's feasible that Ben himself was not aware of anything going into his system, and that it was actually down to the people, his team, the people behind the scenes, who regard him as a golden goose worth potentially millions, who thought he's moving up 2 weight divisions to fight someone. So we're gonna give him a little bit of an unfair advantage. We're going to bend a few rules, cut a few corners. It's possible that the substances made their way into his system without him knowing. It's possible. And people say, yes, but you've got to be responsible for what goes into your body. Well, in principle, yes, but fighters, and certainly someone like Conor Benn, who doesn't strike me as being particularly educated, or, I'm not saying he's stupid, don't get me wrong. And certainly education it's not the same thing as having a high IQ. I'm not saying he's an idiot or anything, but he doesn't strike me as being shall we say, an educated person when it comes to nutrition and diet and so on. That's why you hire people to do those jobs for you. And someone let him down, apparently. So I don't think that this is, I don't know. I think the jury's out on Ben himself as an individual being innocent. Well, clearly he isn't innocent because he failed 2 tests, and therefore you are not innocent. But they say, is ignorance an excuse? Is being manipulated an excuse? I don't know. That's a debate maybe for another time. But accusing someone of blackmailing you, you're on shaky ground, kid. You're on shaky ground. Anyway, what do you think of this then? What did you think of the interview? I know I did a video yesterday on this interview, and I really do despise Piers Morgan, as I said then. Actually, I'm not on Twitter. This is just a little aside, but I'm not on Twitter because I was kicked off it many years ago, before Donald Trump was ever president. We had that nightmare. I actually tweeted that Piers Morgan and Donald Trump, who were good old buddies at the time, that their relationship was, shall we say, more than platonic, if you know what I mean. But I didn't phrase it in a very nice way. Well, I phrased it in a way that was profane and explicit, and they kicked me off. But I tweeted both Morgan and Trump, because they're 2 of the most detestable people of my entire lifetime. Absolutely, I mean, birds of a feather and all that. But yeah, they kicked me off Twitter because of it. But anyway, that's just an aside. Yeah, leave your comments below. What do you think of this blackmail? Is Chris Eubank Jr. blackmailing Conor Benn? Did he try to blackmail Conor Benn? No, I don't think so, but you never know, do you? We'll see. Leave your comments below. Like the video. Hit that like button, and then left hook that subscribe button if you're new. Thanks for your time, as always. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now.